And Rossini is a hot topic at the moment. We're celebrating him and his leap year birthday on the Opera Show. Coming up right now, an extended version of the show, beginning proper, I suppose you could say, as listed on our website at 4 o'clock, with lots of Rossini and also another competition for you. Tickets to win this time to see the new Metropolitan Opera production of Bizet's Pearlfishers. If you'd like to go and see it and take a friend, be ready, because the competition will be about halfway through the show, around about 4:30. But yeah, like a good meal, the Opera Show just kept growing this week, especially when I had the opportunity suddenly to speak to the famous Italian-French tenor Roberto Alagna, whom I'm sure you've heard by now, is making his debut Australian tour in July. Concerts in Sydney, Melbourne and Brisbane from the 21st of July, with guest artist the Australian soprano Siobhan Stagg, who's doing so well overseas. It'll be wonderful to have her back on stage with him for these concerts. Well, if you know anything about Roberto Alagna, you'll know that his career reads a bit like an opera plot. Plenty of joys and tragedies, successes and difficult times professionally and personally. Born to Sicilian immigrants in Paris, he sang in cabaret before being literally discovered by Luciano Pavarotti and winning his competition in Philadelphia. At the moment, Roberto is riding high in New York at the Met, stepping in at the 11th hour. It's happened to him a few times. Jonas Kaufmann called in sick and announced he was unable to sing the big role of the hero des Grieux in a new production of Puccini's Manon Lescaut. So Roberto took the call, wasn't keen at first, but decided in the end to learn the part in rapid time. Let's hear him in a famous aria from the opera, Non vidi mai, and then the conversation I recorded earlier this week.
It was amazing because I had 4 days to prepare, to memorize the score. And after that, from the 1st of February, I start on stage with the cast and the orchestra, just 5 days. And we had the general rehearsal where I sang the entire piece for the first time.
I'm really surprised you've never sung the role on stage before, because you've sung just about everything else, haven't you?
Yeah, it's great. Sometimes it's like this because in my career I sang many times. So I learned very, very fast roles in such a short. But here it was different because I was singing something else, And when you arrived, when you are in good form and everything, okay, you have time. But it was quite demanding to do this in such a short time, and with HD, it's something important, and such a difficult repertoire, opera, because I tell you the truth, Manon Lescaut, it's the most difficult opera from Puccini.
It is indeed, you're right. It's very challenging for directors to stage as well as for the tenor to sing.
For the tenor, and something very important, because sometimes we say, okay, we have time to learn, in 2 weeks you can learn. Okay, we can learn, but when you have to think about words, music, rhythm, gesture, the stage, everything, it's impossible to be careful on the voice, on the vocal technique. It can be a tragedy. You can break your voice. And but thanks God, I was able to do this, and now I'm very, very happy because, in fact, it's such a wonderful piece and such a wonderful music.
It sounds like it's been a role that's been cooking inside you and something that you should have sung earlier, possibly, but perhaps it came at the right time.
Exactly, because I had to sing that 10 years ago, and it was just in a moment when I was in bad health. And I was obliged to
withdraw,
to say no for this, and now I'm happy because to sing this opera, it was my dream for many, many years.
Roberto, you said earlier that there's a huge risk involved, not just for the company, but for you at this stage of your career taking on something like this. And of course, the stakes are normally hugely high for an opera singer, particularly tenors and soprano. You walk the tightrope. And audiences too for opera, they can be like a football crowd, I think. They can either bay for blood if they don't get their fix, or of course they go berserk if they love you. Did nerves kick in at all? I mean, because this was an important chapter in your eventful life.
I will tell you something very, very strange. But this time, in this Manon Lescaut, I was so concentrated, in everything, because I had to think about many things. I received too much information in such a short time. Then when the opera finished, I said to my wife, but the audience was there because for the first time I felt like I was alone on stage with nobody. It was like a wonderful dream, but a nightmare in the same time. You can understand that? It was terrible because I sang just one time the entire piece in full voice at the general rehearsal. And it was not easy for me to manage all the difficulties because I said, okay, if I push too much now, I will be tired in that moment. Maybe I can't do this top note in this moment. And it was difficult to manage that because when you are singing during the rehearsal with the orchestra, you can try sometimes something. But here I was working 12 hours a day. You can imagine to sing in full voice 12 hours a day. It's impossible. And I had to manage the voice to be able to study such a long time.
Absolutely. Well, look, we're looking forward to seeing this on our screens in Australia because, as you said, it's been recorded in HD for screening here in Australia late April. So our audiences will be able to see you. Tell us about your visit to Australia, though, Roberto. We waited so long for you to come out here. Why are you coming finally?
Finally, and I'm very happy because I have relatives there, who left Sicily maybe 50 years ago. And I'm curious to meet them, and in the same time I'm afraid, and it's a strange sensation. It's a little bit like singing this Manon Lescaut this time. It's pleasure, dream, and nightmare in the same time. Because we lost the connection between the family, and now I would like to recreate this connection, with my family and this family I lost for many, many years. And for this reason, I'm very happy. And in the same time, I'm happy because it's a new audience for me. And it's for this reason I wanted to to be the more generous I can. And I made this program to please the more people I can with a very accessible repertoire, very beautiful for people who love beautiful melodies, top notes, drama, comical parts, also light moment, but also charming moment, everything. And also in this show, we'll present more than 20 arias. It's quite crazy. But I know I'm a little bit crazy, but I want to give the more I have inside because it's the first time. I want to give them the most beautiful and accessible, and I want to please them.
You have a name as a very generous fellow. And look, I must tell you, there's one very excited young Australian soprano, Siobhan Stagg, who's going to be singing with you on this tour. She was telling me she cherishes memories of hugging you on stage in a production of The Trojans in Berlin 2 years ago.
We sang Les Troyens together and she has a beautiful voice. And I spent such a wonderful and charming time with her, and now I'm very happy to share also in her country this possibility to give to the public and to share together a moment of joy and magic night of music.
Well, I think she still gets the tingle factor when she thinks of that time, in your arms, feeling you singing full throttle.
Yes, she told me. I remember in that moment I was kissing her, and I'm very, very close to her, and she told me after that, oh my God, your voice is ringing like a bell. It was funny because she told me she can feel the resonance even in the body, in the chest and everything, and it's charming because just artists can react like this, real artists, because you are all the time when you are young, you want to learn and to absorb with your colleagues older. It was the same for me when I sang, for example, many years with Mirella Freni or with a lot of singers. When we were in the duet, I tried in that moment to absorb, like, a sponge, everything I can, because they are, for me, they are gods, it's amazing to have. And I can understand, for her, it was I think maybe the same reaction I had when I was younger.
I was thinking too, Roberto, being there in New York at the moment with this very busy contribution to the current season, you must have a lot of memories of that stage. You've had an extraordinary career there. And is it 20 years since you made your debut there?
At the Met, yes, it was. I made my debut in '96. It's 20 years. But it's my relation with the Met. It's incredible because when I received my first offer, it was in '87. Can you imagine that? It was during the Pavarotti competition. I was in Philadelphia, and they proposed me to do the Italian tenor in Rosenkavalier, and I was so surprised and shy. I said, no, I can't. I'm not ready to sing at the Met. I'm too young, and I refused that. And after that, when I sang alla Scala La Traviata, they made a contract for me to come here in 90 with Tiziana Fabricini, and it was Placido conducting, and they asked me to do the same, La Traviata with her after this big success at La Scala. And I said, okay. And I received the program. And after that, the Met canceled this contract. And I was very disappointed because they told me, we want to protect you. Maybe you are too young to sing a La Scala, such a big role. And I was very, 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 not upset, but very sad in that moment because, I had not a big self-confidence in myself. And to have this kind of cancellation for me was very, very difficult, to swallow. But it was in 90, and after that I made my debut here in 96. Again with difficulties because I was in that moment suffering by allergy, and it was in April, and I was allergic with a plane tree. And my location was in front of Central Park, full of this plane
trees.
And I started the first night not so well, but after that it became fantastic, and we had from that moment a wonderful relation.
Can I ask you finally, Roberto, is there something in your Sicilian character, the strength of your family? I mean, it's such an extraordinary family that you come from, that keeps you going through all these challenges? Or is it just your love, your obsession with the world of opera?
The problem was because I was very, very shy when I was a child, and when you are shy like this, you are a little bit vulnerable, and I never had a wonderful lot of ambition. My biggest ambition was to sing in the choir. It's enough for me, I was like this, and everything I receive, it's for me a wonderful gift, because I never ask so much, I receive more than I expect. I'm happy when I can sing well, when I am proud of my work, of my interpretation, and also I'm very, very close from people, I like this proximity, and I know when people are making sacrifices to go or to listen to somebody, and for this sometimes I am also stupid, because I sing also when I am not well. When I have a cold, or all the time I try to do my best, even when I am in the worst condition. But in the same time, I'm happy because I'm sincere with myself. When I cancel, it's because I can't do more than that, and I never cancel so much. You can imagine at the Met in 20 years, I canceled just one night, and that night I sang the entire opera in my apartment, because for me, canceling it's a torture. It's terrible for me. That I prefer to sometimes to be not 100% well, but to try to go through my possibilities to please the public.
It sounds as though singing for you is as natural as breathing, and it's something that you have to do on a daily basis.
And it's in my education also. I remember my grandfather, when I was a child, he told me all the time like this: if somebody is making something good for you, try to give him double. This is my mentality all the time.
Roberto, we look forward to your generous offering in your concerts here in Australia very, very soon. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak to me today.
It was a great pleasure for me. See you soon.
Mi tradisce il tuo folle pensiero, sempre la stessa, trepida divinamente nell'abbandono ardente. Indi d'un tratto l'incapacinata dai raggi della vita io tuo schiavo e tua vittima dicendo dell'Italia pango nel fango sono l'onta più vile, ma vicina a te. Nell'oscuro futuro
Another famous aria from Manon Lescaut, the opera he's currently singing at the Met, Manon mi tradisce, from Act 2, where Des Grieux and Manon have decided to run away, and Manon stops to gather up her jewels, but he feels ashamed and betrayed that she can't forget her desire for wealth. He's revelling in it, isn't he, at the Met? And as we said, it's going to be shown in cinemas here in Australia, Manon Lescaut, with Roberto Alagna and Christine Opolais in early April, I think, but I'll remind you when it comes around here on the Opera Show. And what a surprise to hear he has Sicilian relatives here in Australia. How exciting for him. And as I said, he's teaming up with the Australian Siobhan Stagg, who's one excited young Australian soprano, working very busily in Europe, but thrilled to be coming home to sing on this tour with the man she hugged in the Trojans.
Di quella pira lo rendo poco, tutte le pire ma tanto, e mi spegnetela occhio fra poco, col sangue nostro la spegnerò, ero già figlio prima d'amarti, non può frenarmi il tuo martir. Madre infelice, corro a salvarti, o che qual meno corro a morir, e qual men a morir, e qual men a morir. Di quella pira lo rendo poco, tutte le pire ma tanto, e mi spegnetela occhio fra poco, col sangue nostro la spegnerò, ero già figlio prima d'amarti, non può frenarmi il tuo martir. Madre infelice, corro a salvarti, oh, corro a morir, e qual men a morir, e qual men a morir.
The dates for his Australian tour: the Sydney Opera House on Thursday the 21st of July, the Arts Centre Melbourne Hamer Hall Wednesday the 22nd of July, and he's in Brisbane at the Convention and Exhibition Centre on Saturday the 30th of July. Lots of publicity around it if you look. It's 1.5 minutes to 4. I think we can squeeze in one more number from Roberto.
Come bella montagna stanotte, bella così nulla
And that's a Neapolitan folk song made famous by a lot of other Italian tenors, including Pavarotti. My Neapolitan not being terrific, I think it translates as I want you tonight. Great to catch up with Roberto Alagna. The opera show continues in just a moment.